Having trouble budgeting? Let me help you out. Hey there, my friends, what's good? It's Jason Ligo here again with Always Enterprise. And in this video, I want to share with you what is the 50-30-20 rule. What is the 50-30-20 rule? And more importantly, how can it help you in terms of building your own successful online business? Now, basically the 50-30-20 rule, perhaps you've heard of it, perhaps you haven't. But what it is, it's a very easy and simplistic way to go about your own budgeting for your own personal finances. Now, I need to go ahead and say up front that I am not a financial advisor. Some would call me a financial expert because of my background. I used to work in commercial banking, as a lot of you know. But I'm currently not working in the financial or investment expertise field right now. So I need to go ahead and let you know that I'm not able to help you in terms of professional advice in that regard. But I know a thing or two about a thing or two, especially in terms of budgeting. And so what I would do is just open this up to you as just a very practical and simplistic way to help you, again, look at your own personal finances and help you in terms of budgeting. Because it seems like personal finance and budget is one of those things that even in this day and time is just something that a lot of people struggle with. And I think they overcomplicate it. And so when I came across this method, which I did very recently in a really cool article I found online, which I'll make sure that I go ahead and put a link in the description box below for you to look at, I thought it was really ingenious. And so what I'm going to do now is jump right in and show you basically what the 50-30-20 rule means. As you can imagine, 50, 30, and 20 are percentages of your income, of your personal budget, and each number reflects a certain category to which you can allocate your spending towards in your personal finance, in your budgeting. Let's jump right in. Hopefully you get a lot of value out of this. Number one, the 50%. What this category represents is your needs, okay? Needs, not wants, but needs. You can consider this fixed costs, basically the things that you absolutely need to live. These are non-negotiables. These are the things that you need to live and to survive on. So again, it's a very practical way to think about how you can budget for certain things. And the fact of the matter is, if you look online or if you look at a lot of reading material, you're going to find a lot of experts, even though they have different opinions and different approaches, it seems like a lot of them can kind of agree right around 40, 50, 60%. So 50 being the average of, if you can learn to live off of half of your income, then it's going to go a whole lot farther for you in terms of being able to generate financial freedom or set you up for that success long-term budget-wise. So while it might seem like a daunting task, if you can at least configure that number in your head and say, if I can learn to live off of half of my income, 50%, that's going to show a lot of discipline, and that discipline is going to prove itself later on in your personal finances. So figure out what your needs are and then go ahead and drill down exactly on what they are and stick to it. And I think this is the problem, because what a lot of people will do is they differ, or they kind of confuse or mistake their wants for their needs or their needs for their wants. All right. So figure out what exactly it is that you need and kind of stick to it. And that's a very hard thing to do, because it forces you to do a lot of self-reflection and determine really what is a want or a need. And you have to be careful about not muddying those waters. So for instance, you need groceries, okay, but you do not need to go out to eat every single weekend. Does that make sense? So things like this, very practical, but also very, very painful. So number one, 50%, these are your needs. These are your fixed costs, the things that you bare bones need to survive. Keep it at that, identify what those are, and don't muddy the waters. Number two, the 30%. These are your wants, okay? Now, where the first category was the things that you need, the 30% now reflects on the things that you want, okay? In other words, the things that maybe you would appreciate and would enjoy. These are more like desires, okay? Now, again, you have to look at these numbers very carefully, because it's so easy to muddle the two. So for instance, you might consider that coffee is something that you absolutely need. And I'm not going to argue with you, okay? Groceries are definitely something that you need. Of course, I am from Seattle, so coffee is a big thing here. But if coffee is included in your groceries as something that you need, that might be fine, okay? No problem. But do you need to go out every single day and spend $6, $5 to $6 to $7 on a fancy latte at your favorite coffee shop, whether it's Starbucks or otherwise? I would contend not. Now, again, that does hit home, even for someone like me, because I love, again, here being in Seattle and loving Starbucks and every other fancy coffee shop in the world. The truth of the matter is that it definitely is not a need, right? The same is true in your exercise, all right, or other things like that. You might determine that you see fitness as a need. Okay, great. But do you need, let me give you an example. If you think that fitness is a need, that's fine. I understand that. But maybe you just need a $1,500 exercise bike that will satisfy your cycling workouts, aspirations versus $6,000 or $4,000 for a fancy Peloton. Does that make sense? So hopefully you're seeing the difference here. I encourage you to do the exercise of separating your needs and your desires, your needs and your wants, your 30% and your 50%, writing them down, and you'll be shocked at how much money that you're going to find yourself saving just by knowing the difference between the two. All right. And again, we're not telling you that you can't have the things that you want. You're allowed to budget for the things that you want. Just know that your wants and your needs are vastly different. And hopefully you're responsible enough to look in the mirror and determine the difference between the two. Number 3, the final 20%, this goes towards your future building, all right? Or in other words, these are the things that you want to budget towards in terms of your future financial goals. And I think that this is a great number. This is a great number that a lot of people could really stick to. Now, obviously, if you're struggling and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're trying to break that cycle, okay? I totally can allow for certain things like that. But that 20% is definitely something that you want to strive to setting aside. And it's up to you how you can spend that. But just to give you an idea of what you can allocate towards your future financial wealth, your future building, your investment portfolio. Okay, here's some basic things that you should consider setting aside money for. Obviously, I think it's a good idea to have emergency savings. You can also think about college funds. You can think about investment income, right? An investment portfolio of sorts, whether you're into stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency, real estate, other things that you can do. Just know that 20%, set something aside, and this is the money that you're going to use to bring you more money in the future, right? Now, here's where I would go ahead and inject my 2 cents with regards to business. One thing that I would add to this category, this 20% at a bare minimum, would be money that you set aside to help you build your business. Understanding that a business is not a traditional investment in the traditional sense of the word. The truth of the matter is your business should be looked at as an investment. Okay, now this is not financial advice, but hear me out. Conceptually, if you can take money and set aside money and use it towards building a business to bring you more money, right, then it just makes sense. As someone who coaches and teaches and works with entrepreneurs and aspiring, CEOs and aspiring, business people, online, offline, brick and mortar, digital marketing, whatever, it absolutely astounds me how much people don't have set aside for their business, and yet they tell me that they're serious, right? And this is something that I see more often in the online space than off, but again, it matters just the same. If you're in the online marketing space, all right, whether you're in a traditional, format where you're doing just digital marketing to help you, or maybe you're getting started with the support of a company through an affiliate opportunity, or maybe a network marketing thing, an MLM, multi-level marketing company, all of that is valid. All of that can be wonderful, but you have to look at it and treat it like a real business. And so what money, what budget, what capital are you bringing to the table to help you propel your success in your business? It absolutely astounds me how people don't take it serious and how many people don't have money that they can bring to the table. For me, it almost seems like that's where it makes most sense to bring money, because to the degree that you can put into your business, really can help you accelerate the profits that are coming in. And therefore, conceptually, it's almost like your return on investment is vastly controlled by you and can definitely be accelerated and manipulated in a good sense to where that return is higher and faster than it is in any other traditional form of investing. Again, not financial advice, okay? But please make sure that you consider that. Again, if you're in the online business or starting out the business, you can, there are advertising dollars that you can definitely allocate for. There's marketing, there's traffic, there's sales funnels, there's technology, there's teams, there's all these wonderful things that cost money. But if you invest into these things, invest that money wisely and smartly, that money can absolutely return a tremendous offering for you, and something that you can be happy and you can be proud of, all right? Another honorable mention I'll drop really quickly towards this building your financial future goal, this 20%, is that of accelerated debt reduction, accelerated debt payoff. Okay, for me, that is also going towards your future, because the sooner that you can get free from bad debt, the chains and the bonds of bad debt, the better it is going to be for you. Whether that's an extra $100 in principal per month, or it's an extra, $200 that you can put to pay off a credit card faster, I think that's going to be fabulous and it's going to be wonderful for you. So make sure that you look into that as well. My final tip with regards to this 20%, this financial future, building your financial goals category, is very simply to make sure that you don't make the mistake of becoming over diversified. Understand that you're just playing with 20%. So you need to make sure that you spend that 20% as important and as carefully as you can, and be as deliberate as you can. One trap that a lot of people will find themselves falling into when they put together a nice little bundle of savings is that they'll kind of open their ears to every little thing that is being said out there, all right? And they'll fall victim to spreading themselves too thin and then inadvertently being left with little to nothing at all, which is a very, very sad place to be. The minute that you find yourself shopping for an investment vehicle to stick your money in, you're going to find that a lot of noise is going to come your way. And so I would caution you against jumping into every little new opportunity. So for instance, you might hear that this is the hot stock, dump all your money to it. Oh, hold on a second, there's this really new hot crypto that is supposed to take off. Stick your money in that, right? And everything in between. Be careful about it. Don't go pouring your money in a million different vehicles. Be deliberate, take care of one thing at a time. And again, I would encourage you first to focus on the most important things, which are things like debt reduction and having emergency savings. And then of course you can play the markets however you want to do it. Hopefully this is helpful to you, my friends. These are three very simple categories, and overall a great simple way to look at a personal finance budget. And now, of course, hopefully you can see after sharing it with you how much it applies to building your own personal business as well. I hope that this was helpful to you. Make sure you drop a comment for me down below and let me know if any one of these was particularly enlightening to you. And obviously make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. This is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. I'll see you next time. Take care.